10 years from now, when somebody asks me what you're doing 20 years from now, we still gonna be doing this because we're living our dream every day. And we get to work with each other living that dream every day. So we have an office and a staff, and every day we show up. Don't nobody have to make us go to the office. We pay the bills at the office. It's funny. I told her, I said, they couldn't beg you to get at your office at your job. You're supposed to be at 9 every day. You'd be at 9:30. Now you at the office at 8. I can't get you to leave. And we pay for this office here. So that's the difference, is when you're living your dream and when you're living in your calling, it's just different.
Them niggas scared to make that move. We can't relate to that. I roll the dice, shit. If I lose, I'm gonna be shaking back. Cause lessons learned within the loss just elevate the fact that trial and error just the only way. Ain't no escaping that. I wake up, hit 100 push-ups, then I'm at my route. Check on my stocks, see how they looking, then I'm sliding out. When you start seeing your progression, you stop having doubts. And what's the point of having clout if you can't cash it out? True to this game, and I'm a lifer, ayy. Feel like we finna change the cycle, ayy. That's the most success, you know we thriving, ayy. That's the most depression for our rivals, ayy. Could teach a lesson on survival, ayy. You know I'm from the bottom.
What's up with it, my wealth builders? It is your boy David Bellard, one of the founders of Black Wealth Renaissance. Out here live at H-Town with my brother Jalen. How you doing, dog?
What's good with it, my brother? I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm feeling black-tastic, man.
Hey, man, I love it. Black-tastic. That's that shit, man.
Yeah, man.
What's going?
We just black, you know. We black. It's Black History Month. We black every day, and we living our lives. And I'm excited today, man.
Yes, sir. I'm excited, too. But before we get into it, I need everybody to please leave us a 5-star rating and review. Make sure you share this episode. And if this is your first time listening, get ready to be hit with some value and some gems.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all make sure y'all do that for us. It helps us grow the show and get the message to people who needs it. And as Jalen was saying, y'all definitely gonna want to tap into this one because y'all, we in Houston, and it wouldn't be right if we came down to Houston and didn't talk to some of the people in real estate out here that are doing amazing work. Y'all know every time we come out here, we get to link with some dope people.
Yeah.
This is no different. This couple was referred to us by one of our people, Miss Nikki Handy. If y'all hadn't listened to that episode, slap down in the face, go back, listen to it, and come back. But y'all, this is a power couple out here in Houston in the real estate market. They own their own development company called Park Street Homes. They've done hundreds of millions in construction and multi-millions in real estate sales, and they just really been doing the work and educating and helping couples as well get into the real estate space and teaching them about real estate and marriage through their podcast. So I just want to welcome Kevan and Ayesha Shelton. How y'all doing?
Good. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Good.
Thank you.
I like that black-tastic.
Yeah, man.
I'm black-tastic too.
You are
Every day.
I am black-tastic.
I love it. So Kevan,
black-tastic. I'm good.
Yeah, man. I love you.
Man, thank y'all so much for joining us today. Come and join us out here. So I know I gave a brief introduction, but if y'all can, please just introduce our audience to y'all.
We do this all the time, right?
Yeah.
Kevan and Ayesha Shelton, co-hosts of the Marriage and Real Estate podcast, owners of Park Street Development and Park Street Homes, as well as the Ayesha Shelton team, which is a real estate team. And we just kind of got together, fell in love, and fell into business. And now we are the Sheltons.
I don't know if I fell in any of that.
You always kill my introduction.
You have amazing introductions.
Thank
I
you.
apologize.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But no, I think our story really we both had real estate goals, aspirations, dreams. And I think it was us coming together that made that what it is today.
You know, the funny thing is, when I was working my career, I built for a long time just as an employee, and I could never figure out ownership. So I went 10 years before I ever owned a house or, did any of that. And I was building the entire time for other people and not really thinking about what was on the other side of that board. And it wasn't until she opened my eyes to ownership that it really kind of unlocked a lot of things for us.
I think it's a lot compacted in y'all's story, and I want to just get to some of it. So whenever you say you were building, were you general contractor?
I work for general contractors.
Okay. And what was your specialty? Were you just doing like labor, or did you specialize in like sheetrocking or flooring?
So construction management, my degree is actually in construction management. So since I was 12, I wanted to be a builder. So that's what I went to college for. That's all I've ever done in my adult life. So I had many jobs, but everything led up to what I do now. And for me, the highlight of my entire life was building, being a director of construction, commercial development, stuff like that. So here I am in my 20s living my dream, right? Like running a team, building things, having the ability to really control my time from a construction standpoint. But I didn't own anything. I didn't own a house. I lived in an apartment. This is my second marriage. So, what I learned along the way was you can have a career and the other sides of your life aren't necessarily together. And our relationship put that stuff together for me.
So you come into play.
Yep.
How do you change everything for this man?
You know what? I like to call him a diamond in the rough, for real, because I met him and I knew that there was a lot of potential, right? And that he was very capable. So I've dated somebody that there's a snake in the garage, I'm killing the snake. You know what I'm saying? And then I met this man who does, I don't know, everything. I don't know, you did everything. And I just really hadn't met men that were handy like that.
And that was so weird to me.
That was-
'cause I didn't understand that.
Where you from?
I'm from here.
Okay.
It started in La Pelusa.
Oh, okay.
I just didn't understand men
Super-
not being like him.
No.
So she had a super side note story. But when we dated,
Okay.
she owned her own house. She bought her own house at 25. So she had a deck in her backyard. And the deck was just raggedy. It was like
Wait.
falling apart.
Off level, everything like that.
It wasn't a bad
It was
deck.
built well.
It needed to be
It
repainted.
needed to be repainted.
Okay.
It needed to be repaired. And her backyard just needed some love, right? So my father's side of the family is all landscapers by trade. So I grew up landscaping. So one of our dates or whatever was I redid her backyard. I painted the deck. I built a flower bed. I completely.
Now, who y'all know do that? Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Had it ever since then.
And then we had a nice kickback. I hung lights. It was like whole nut.
It was.
And she was like, I ain't never met no guy to do this.
Never.
I was,
Never.
All right.
Nah.
There was a rap from there.
I mean, it was a rap when I first met him, but yeah.
I love it. So how long have y'all been married now?
we've been married 7 years in March and together 10 years in August.
Congratulations.
That's dope.
So
So
it's been lightning fast.
A hell of a ride.
that's awesome. So you bought your first home at 25, Ayesha. So were you already a realtor at the time, or?
No. So I'll tell you, I was the book person, right?
Okay.
So the Robert Kiyosaki's, all the books that we talk about today are all of the things that I read. So I had all of the book knowledge. I had all of the it can be done. I was also, after graduation, I got my first job at a bank in West University here in Houston, which is literally one of the, what is it? Give me
Most
the stat.
affluent areas.
Somewhere. One of the most affluent areas, definitely in Houston. And I said one of, but
So
definitely in
highest
Houston,
per capita income in
Texas.
the state.
Okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
Wow.
There's this really, they got a lot of money over there. Well, anyway, I was placed in that branch, and that's where a lot of my financial knowledge came from. It's amazing how forthcoming people are with information with people that they don't know. And so I had clients that would come in and make deposits on April 14th on 3 different IRAs, one for my wife, one for the wife didn't work, but they maxed out their contributions for tax purposes. I had couples that come in after getting married with $70,000 from their family because they contribute to them purchasing their first house after they're married. I had children come in with their parents to divide up their money to put in their savings account, and they'd sit at my desk and have 20% for savings, and then they'd be saving for a special gift, and then they'd set some aside to give. I mean, it was just amazing to see these people manage and handle money in ways that I hadn't been exposed to. So it was at that point that I kind of recognized the power of wealth building and what that looks like. Because from my peer view, I just didn't see things like that. So I had all this book knowledge about what you can do, use other people's money to buy real estate, just all the stuff we hear about today. Well, I can't build nothing, I can't rehab nothing, and I didn't have very much money, but this man did have a skill. And so when we came together, he shared what he could do, and I was like, we could do this and we can do that. And it just opened up this huge world of opportunity and possibility for us. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
The partnership, almost like whenever he showed you to work with the deck, it was like, oh, okay, this is like, we could do this on a whole grander scale. So can we talk about what the partnership looked like when y'all first like realized, okay, let's see if we can go in the business together with this?
So the funny thing is, and this might sound real stupid, but she just had a life together, and I didn't have my life together in that same way, right? So for me, it was real easy to see somebody who was farther than me, right, or had done more than me, and kind of get on that train, right? So when we first started dating, we started dating in August. Within 6 months, she changed my whole life, right? I was still in college. I had been in college 10 years. I made decent money. I made, 70-something grand a year. I just got my first apartment. I had it for 2 weeks. Here I am paying $1,350 a month in rent. I'm like, all right, man, I got it together. I'm making decent money. And I look at her. She made less money than me. She made $50 grand a year. She owned a house. Her mortgage was $700. So I'm like,
half what you
I'm
paying.
doing something wrong. So the first thing I did was give her all my money. Like, here we go. You're the better one with the money. You should be managing the money. I literally moved in with her. I was like, paying this rent don't make sense. But all this was within 6 months. She said, you need to go down to the dean's office and see what you need to do to graduate. God just had it that some rules changed, some different things happened. I graduated that December. I met her in August.
Damn.
I graduated that
After
December.
10 years of being
After
in school.
10 years of being in school. Instantly, I had a list of all the development companies I wanted to work for, right? So I knew as soon as I'd be able to get my degree, I'd go after all these jobs because I had 10 years of working experience. I had a child when I was 20. I've been working this entire time. So for me, I was like ready to go. I just had to get out of school. Immediately got the best job that I wanted. They literally competed, different departments competed for me. My salary increased by 40 grand. So now, not only am I out of school, more money, better life, lower bills, all because I got with this lady. So it was a very easy decision for me to go, I want more of this, less of whatever I was doing before. So I kind of, got down with the train.
There's power in partnership. There was a statistic that recently came out that said single people have obviously have less buying power than married people, right? So if I make $50,000 by myself, what I can do with that $50,000 compared to if I make $50,000 and this man makes $70,000, instantly my ability to grow and purchase property and grow a portfolio, the chances have gone up greatly. And so marriage really is, when you find the right person, let me be very clear.
Yeah,
Don't y'all go out here marrying anybody.
Don't get married just because you trying to save money. That's a bad decision.
No. It has to be the right partner. And truly, what I see in him, and this is kind of funny. I tell you this all the time. My friends be like, "Ooh, I couldn't do Kevin." But I look at their spouses and I'll be like, ooh, I couldn't be married to your spouse. You got to find the right one for you. And when you find the right one for you, it just, the potential that can be unlocked between the two of y'all. I know our partnership is divine, right? Like, you've been favored in your life. And I've always been favored in my life. And so I'm like, okay, you got favor, I got favor. Damn, we got double favor.
Yeah, we used to say that all the time, double favor, because it literally,
it multiplies.
Yeah, it does. And when you lean to your strengths, and we tell couples this all the time, you don't have to have it all figured out. You need to do what you do best and let the other person do what they do best. And then you put those things together. Now, you still got to fill in the gaps, right? Because there's things that you might need. But if she good with money and I'm not good with money because I wasn't raised to be good with money, give her the money.
Yeah.
So many people fight these battles trying to do things that they're not necessarily suited for. I'm good at executing. She don't execute. So you give me the plan, I'm going to run the ball. Like, that's what I do all day. So for me, I always say, and I tell people all the time, she's the brains and I'm the builder. It's real easy. She give me the play, I run it. And there's no, we're both in charge of where we want our life to go, right? So our life is built off of my actions and her thoughts, right? Her dreams are the reason why, we envisioned all the things that we're able to do now. And then the work that, we both put in, but specifically the execution piece of that is my responsibility. So I'm the one to bring it forth. So she said, hey, we can use other people's money to buy real estate. Here's all the books you need to read to do that. I read the books, put it into play. Here we are later, $5 million worth of private invested capital, done a bunch of real estate.
The story is so beautiful, and I think it even speaks to being equally yoked, because you guys both, once again, y'all wanted it, and each person had the different ability. I also think it goes deeper than what a lot of people are putting on social media right now. Like, right, people arguing about the most silliest bullshit. Who going half of it up? But you just stated like, yo, I don't care. If I got 50, he got 70, now we're combined. Because when we're married on paper, they're going to combine this.
Yeah.
But this also gives us the opportunity to say, okay, now, instead of looking like on paper, I'm just making 50, now I make it like 120 on paper. Now the bank can say, okay, you can afford this bigger home, or you can afford this larger, loan that you can do. But then I also like the part where y'all allow each other to operate within what y'all are doing great, right? A lot of times, again, on social media, oh, the man needs to do this, the man needs the one. No, do what you do great. Me personally, in my relationship, I like to clean. Yep. I'm the clean person. I'm going to go clean my house. I wanted to make sure that it's neat. I like to organize it. I like to make sure that it's cool. That's just the way I was raised, though. I'm the oldest of my mom's 5 kids. Mm-hmm. So I had to be the person to clean up.
Yep.
So just understanding what you do well and operating in that, it can take you so much further. And I'm glad that y'all shared that, and I love how it blossomed out for y'all.
I mean, to be clear, there was definitely friction before we got to this point, right? Because it's like a woman's supposed to clean. Kevin is a better cook than me. Kevin is a better cook than me. Kevin cares about things that I don't particularly care about. And so he's meticulous. He's much more meticulous than I am. And so, yeah, that makes sense for us. But we did have a struggle. It was like, you a woman, you supposed to do that. And I'm like, I ain't never really cleaned up around my house.
That's the funniest thing about it is she is very clear on what she ain't going to do. Right? So the challenge that I gave her that she's always lived up to is this. If you're not willing to do it, surround me with the resources for it to get done. And she's really good at that. So she ain't cooking or cleaning, but we got meal prep that come in the house every Sunday. We got a cleaning service that comes to our house every 2 weeks. We were, as our family grew and we had children, I'm like, look, man, I'm getting off work every day. I'm picking up these kids or whatever. She's like, boom, all right, we're going to get a nanny. We got a nanny. And what that does is free me up to be able to go and do what I do well, which is build the business and build. So she's like, okay, I want you to have the freedom to do what you enjoy doing and not be bogged down with these things that it don't necessarily have to be one of us doing those supportive role tasks, right? Because we make our money doing real estate. We make our money, actually enacting the things that we dream about. So she said, okay, well, let me surround you with the resources. So the nanny pick up the kids and we'll be home and we'll have a much better experience than I picked up the kids. I'm frustrated. I'm still trying to work. I'm on calls. I'm driving by job sites as I'm trying to figure. It was long days. So now we both at the office until, dinner time or whatever. And we go home and we greet our family together. And we get to do that together and walk out that life together every day.
But there's this whole notion of like a power couple, and Kevin and I we both equally work. But a power couple could very well be one spouse is at home making sure that the kids are fed, take them to extracurricular activities, plan the vacations so that the other partner can go and do the work that he does or she does to make the family whole, right? So it doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm a power woman and he's a power man and we together. It could be, does your partnership work for what you guys envision?
Ain't no rules to that.
Nah.
Right? And people get caught up in what they feel like a man should do or a woman should do. And the goal is, what do you want your life to look like?
Yeah.
That's it.
And then how do you surround yourself with the resources to make that possible? And that's really what our relationship has been for us, is allowed us the ability to maximize our gifts so we can live our life. And even real estate for us has been a vehicle for us to maximize our wealth building, maximize our income, free us from our jobs, and give us opportunities that we otherwise wouldn't have. But it started with that base partnership. It unlocked everything else that layers on top of it.
That's good. So I want to get into the first deal.
Yeah.
of y'all together. What does this look like? Are we building something from the ground up? Are you guys purchasing and rehabbing? What did that look like?
So the crazy part about it is we went down the, kind of internet real estate wormhole, which the internet wasn't popping like that, I guess, at the time. It was really like bigger pockets,
Yeah.
real groups. So she said, hey man, I found this great podcast, Bigger Pockets, whatever. And this is when we started educating ourselves. So we spent 2 years educating ourselves in real estate before we ever invested $1, because there were a lot of things that had to happen in that time. So we got together in August 2014. We didn't buy our first deal till December 2017. No, 2016. And the reason why is we spent all that time educating ourselves on how to do real estate, like what it is, right? And then there were some things we had to take care of. We had to get married. We had to, buy a house, do all these other things. But what it unlocked for us is the ability to do that first deal. So she owned her first house at 25. We used that house, the equity she had in that house, right, to take a HELOC on it. But we did several things at the same time, because I'm a planner, right? So once she give me the gas and say, hey, let's do X, Y, Z, I'm putting together the plan in my mind. So we started building a new house under mine FHA loan.
Before we got married.
So
that we can have 2 FHA
That's such a big jump right there.
Yeah.
Because it's like, once y'all married, right, y'all can only have one FHA loan.
They changed the rules. I think you can.
Conventional. You can do a convention. You can do a conventional without your spouse on it. I don't know. Don't look it up.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But anyway, at the time, that was the rule.
Yeah.
So we did FHA loan under me. She had an FHA loan under her first house. We took a HELOC while we were still living in that house, created $50,000 in equity in a HELOC. Took that HELOC, bought an auction home. So in the same time we did this, closed on our new house, put a renter in our existing house, and bought our first flip at the same time. So it was a lot, because we had also just had a baby, right? So at the same time we did all this, moved in our new house, renovated, put the tenant in, started the renovation. Midway in that first flip, we bought our next deal.
So y'all didn't just dip a toe in. Y'all went headlong once y'all got it. Well, y'all took 2 years of time to educate.
You also had 10 years of prior experience too.
Yeah.
So the projects were never construction is my gift. That's what I wanted to do since I was 12. So I ain't afraid of no project. I was doing the first project myself.
But also when you get the gas, like when you like, oh wait, that was kind of easy. It gets easier and easier. And not that it's easy, because it's far from easy. I think once you figure stuff out, once you figure something out, you go, wait, I could do that again? Like that easily? Especially when you have 2 W-2s.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, bank finance.
I miss it. I miss it. We are entrepreneurs and we work for our business and we're in our business, but it's such a different world when we had biweekly incomes and we went to the bank to get finance. They're like, oh yeah, I like the way that look. Here's some more money. Here's some more money. Here's some more money. Now we entrepreneurs, it look a lot different than that.
And see, I don't think people
tax returns versus the taking your bank statement.
If we could do, not that if we could do it all over again, because we are where we are because that was the path that God had for us, right? But anybody that comes up to me like, man, we want to quit our jobs and do what y'all doing, I'm like, it's the ghetto. Don't do it. Like, seriously. Somebody keep a job, or maybe y'all both keep y'all jobs, but let's talk about how y'all can do the same thing that we're doing better.
Especially for couples, because that's one thing couples really don't get is maximize your income and then maximize your investments while you hold on to that income, right? A lot of people think entrepreneurship sounds real sexy, but the reality of the situation is there's a lot of limitations you have to go around, and people don't get that. So coming into the space of somebody got a job makes bank financing easier, makes when you got to buy them braces or buy the cars or all the stuff that comes with a family much easier. And then you have somebody who is igniting that wealth building journey. They might be a real estate agent or an appraiser or an investor, or figuring out how you can kind of make those jumps to the next level, but the household is staying stable. We quit our jobs at the same time, and it was definitely ghetto.
The ghetto.
It was very hard to do.
It was the ghetto.
But we also have a particular skill set with me building and us starting a company that became our job.
So why was it ghetto for y'all quitting at the same time? What was the first hurdle y'all had to realize, cross over, that y'all realized, oh, this is the ghetto?
Cash flow.
Yeah.
when there's no new cash flow coming in the house, you're 100% accountable for every single dollar that come in your house, right? So if you don't make no money this month, your house ain't got no money this month because there ain't no check coming by.
Well, and you know, we're planners, right? So there are projections that are made, but if those projections don't pan out the way you see it, we were fixing flippers. If anybody's fixing flip, everybody like it. It sounds sexy. Everybody thinks they're making a big bag at the end, and sometimes you do, but sometimes you don't. And if that's the income that you're dependent upon, I mean, we had some hard times when we were trying to figure that out. But the internet told us all we had to do was this, and this, and then we do it, and it didn't quite pan out that way. And I mean, we had to live with that and figure out how to get through that. But it definitely made our marriage stronger. It made our business stronger, and it made us better people. Like, we're better business people because of the times where it was hard. Yeah.
So when did y'all quit y'all jobs? Was it after buying that first property on the HELOC, or was it after the first thing?
So it was basically, we bought that first property, and that really started the train, but we were both still working. So the hard part for me was, I'm managing projects, and I was also managing projects out of state, across the country. So I was building everywhere from Louisiana all the way up to California. So I'd be gone 4 days a week.
Yeah.
And I'd get off a plane and go hang ceiling fans at the house till 1, 2 in the morning. And that really wasn't working. So we got to a crossroads where it was like, we have this opportunity in front of us where we built this business. We have these rentals, we have these things. But if we can't dedicate the time to it, we can't maximize it. Right. So we had 3-hour meetings with our CPA, and he was like, y'all should quit y'all jobs. And I was like, Now, mind you, we were making decent amounts of money, you know, multiple 6 figures. And it did not sound very sexy to me. I needed to be convinced. But the problem is with me being tied to the execution is I'm the one running the day to day. So, and she wasn't even licensed at the time. She was getting licensed at the time. So like we did with the first project, we did several things all at once. She got licensed. The second she got licensed, she quit her job. I quit my job so that I could dedicate the time because we had a staff, but I needed to manage those people. I needed to be there.
Really nurtures them and help them grow.
And I fell into real estate agency because I made $50,000 a year. Yeah. And that first year we started investing, when we did our taxes, we saw how much we paid our realtor.
Our realtor $60,000.
And I was like, hold up.
So it did make sense.
So you paid your realtor more than you were making a year.
My realtor more than what I was making in a year. So then it was like, well, you need to get your license. And I did, and it's been up from there.
It has.
Because now y'all keeping what, 3% in house each time?
And we're buying and selling. So you make 3% on the buy, you don't have to pay it.
I'm buying.
The seller's paying that.
Right.
So
right.
we buying parcels of land, we're buying existing homes. That's just money being lost. So all it did was we kept doing what we were doing. Now she just got paid what she was being paid at her job to do.
Plus more.
Mm-hmm. Way more.
So the crazy part about that is 2019 was the year that we quit our jobs, and it was the best, worst year because the beginning of the year was beautiful. We quit our jobs in like May. It was like amazing. And then the second part of the year coming. So we audited our business, and what we recognized is we had 4 projects that we had signed contracts on, but the appraisals came in short. And this is kind of and y'all probably done an episode on gentrifying areas and kind of the hassles with that, right? You don't get the values in a lot of the urban areas.
We actually did do it.
So we lost $300,000 in deals that had contracts on it. Contract for $220, sell it for $160.
Damn.
Stuff like that, times multiple. In 2019, we bought 32 properties. We bought a portfolio in Beaumont. We did a bunch of stuff. We were kind of doing everything. We had 2 Airbnbs. We had regular rentals. We were buying. We started new construction. We were doing everything.
We bought the 7 streams of income fallacy.
So
we sipped from the juices around.
It's not real, y'all. Like, and it is real.
It's not that it's not real.
It's finding those 7 streams within the business that you're doing.
Exactly. And that's what people don't understand. It's 7 streams within one vehicle.
It's a jack of all trades and a master of none. If you spent the same amount of time in your
Doing
7
one
or
thing.
3 businesses maximizing in this one business that you have, imagine how much better you could be,
Yep.
right? So you figuring out Airbnbs and how to fix and flip and how to be a real estate agent and how to do, sure, you can make a lot of,
24 hours.
that's what I'm saying. Sure, you can make a lot of money doing those things, but also imagine how much money you can make if you were just laser focused on doing just that.
If I was just the Airbnb guy, chances are I'd be 10 times better the Airbnb guy than the guy that's the Airbnb. I find apartments for people, and I do 6 other things in real estate.
Yeah.
There was a point where we had like 4 businesses on our business card.
Yeah.
It was like stupid.
We were like, what do we put on our business
Like
card?
it was so hard to. But what we did is we ultimately had to pivot from all of that. We had to completely reset our company. We had to let go of staff. It was everything.
Dang, so okay, yeah. What does that look like? Restructuring from having multiple to focusing on one, and which one did y'all focus on?
So
Look, you ever heard of a control burn?
it was we basically had to sell off everything except for our core rentals. We sold off everything. So when we first started investing, I had a board on my wall, and our bedroom wall was nothing but whiteboards and stuff, and I had 60 doors, and I was like, okay, I'm on the path to 60 doors, because 60 doors equals $19,000 a month in passive income, to $200 a door. I had this whole like calculus. So we owned 30 doors. But what we realized in owning 30 doors, 30 doors is a bunch of doors. In single family homes, it's a lot of moving parts, a lot of tax statements.
30 taxes?
I mean,
30 taxes?
There were folks breaking in our property. 2 boys broke into one of our houses, set up power, set up a table, start serving crack. We had to do a sting. It was what? It was so many moving parts. It was too much to do. So we packaged everything up and we started selling it. We sold land, we sold houses, we sold multifamilies. We had a lot of things that we just had to get off our plate. We also had to restructure everything from a private investment standpoint to make sure all of our investors made money, we're all good. Mm-hmm. We literally had to burn the house down. We let go of staff. My sister was our operations manager at the time. I had to fire my sister. I cried.
Man,
it was hard.
Yeah, we
But
just
we
said
had
that
to do
we
it.
burned everything down and we picked a lane. And so now we do
Just new construction.
new construction
Because
and
my
real
gift
estate
was always
sales.
building.
Yeah,
And her being the agent,
you can sell the home.
exactly.
yeah.
So her being an agent is actually a saving grace. It's how we survived during that time, because she was still transacting real estate. And because we were selling everything, she got paid on the sale. And because we were still in the space, so many deals just came naturally from people knowing, hey, y'all in real estate. Her first year, she did almost $3 million just from being in the space, just from buying and selling. Her next year, she did $5 million. And it just built up from there. So that was our kind of light bulb moment to go, okay, we just need to do what we do well. I'm a builder.
Taking y'all gifts and talents and maximizing them.
And that's it. So now when people ask, it's like, oh man, do you do a little bit? Nope.
No.
I just built.
Do y'all do commercial? No.
Nope. And I spent 12 years doing commercial, but you got to focus on something, right? So even when opportunities come our way now, I said, until we've maximized this opportunity, she actually gave me a challenge, because we got people coming from Dallas and Austin like, oh, do you want to build a house here? That she told me very early when we pivoted our business, she said, until you maximize Houston, you can't build nowhere else. So I was
Because we did that already.
I'm going to get 100 homes a year here before I build another
We
place.
did that already, right? We were like mice, right? It's like, oh, that's an opportunity. That's an opportunity. I can do this. I can do that. I can
And
do
every
this.
opportunity ain't for you.
No, just because you can does not mean you should. Yeah.
That's good. That's some good shit right there. Y'all potting.
I want to ask y'all. I want to ask y'all about the maintaining a marriage while working a business together, because I think that's something that's very pivotal. I think a lot of people, they hear about the idea of being in business with their partner, and it sounds good, but then they also think about the bad. So can we talk through like some ways that y'all have been maintaining this through this 10-year relationship?
Yeah, so we had to learn this over time because it wasn't this seamless before, but pick a lane. So he talked about, what's your level of expertise, what's your lane, and once you pick that lane, that's yours, right? So if there needs to be an ultimate decision that's made, because we're a partnership, it's only 2 of us, nobody can split the baby on what we should do. if it's in your lane, then you have the ultimate decision. I weigh in, I give my thoughts, but ultimately you make the decision. I'm in sales. So when he wants to list something that I think is entirely too high, ultimately I get to make the decision because I'm the one who works in this industry like this. Same thing for the homes and the development part. I have an opinion, but ultimately whatever he thinks is best is the way that we go. And if I were to advise any couple, like, do your strength, whatever your strength is, that's where you stand. Before,
Oh, I was trying to sell him. She was trying to build him.
listen, and when you're in business together, at home and business are the same thing. So if we ain't happy in business,
Y'all ain't happy at
we
home.
ain't happy at
Every
home.
day, especially when money's tight. And the funny thing is, so I'll tell a quick story, a super quick story.
Hold on.
I used to,
No,
when
we're
our
not
money
gonna
was
watch
super
the
tight
stories.
and we were pivoting, we were still trying to finish projects. So I was cleaning a house, like me physically cleaning the house till like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. And here I am with our construction manager. I'm scrubbing floors or whatever because we couldn't afford to pay for a construction cleaner. And we were trying to get to closing just to make a little money. And she was like, David Weekly homes don't go clean no houses. I'm like, David Weekly homes got a lot more money than me. Like, So I said, this is a moment in time. Like, I'm cleaning this house now, but I'm not going to be cleaning these houses forever. It's like, we got to get to the next hurdle. You know what I mean? And she didn't, we fought about that. It was like a whole thing because it was like, I didn't have the budget to spend the money, and then she didn't understand the commitment of the time. And now, I'm not cleaning houses, but we had to get through those moments. So in those tense moments where you're working together, it's a matter of trust, it's a matter of faith, and it's a matter of communication for sure.
And commitment. It definitely is a matter of commitment because that's when that better or worse comes, right? So when it gets when it's bad, when it's worse, you have to choose to stay or not stay, and people make that choice. And we chose to stay together and figure it out. And on the other end, it's beautiful.
There's one moment and she gonna absolutely hate me for this.
Don't say it then.
We had an argument. This was at the height of everything going bad. Because, remember, we had these 3-hour meetings with our CPA. So I'm like, I had this plan. And I remember, and she was pregnant at the time, and everything was going to hell. And she said, I thought you had a plan.
Oh my God.
And when I tell you, it just hurt my heart. Because here I am, all our eggs in this basket.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't go back to work, tried to get another job. And God just kept us there. He made us fight through that moment. And it hurt me so bad because I'm like, I didn't want to put my family in this position where we feel vulnerable. I had a great job. I love what I do, made a bunch of money. So it was a moment where it was truly where our commitment was tested because she had to stay in that and I had to stay in that. And you can't run from that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So years later now, it's like, man, that was probably the hardest moment in it. And it got much better after that, but we had to go through all those challenges to be as solid as we are now. And now it's not, if I tell her, hey, this costs this and we got to do this, she'd be like, okay. And she ain't even tripping. And if I'm like, she just went to Africa for 2 weeks, I was like, okay. Because she surrounded me with the resources that when she's gone, it's still a lot, but it ain't what it would be otherwise. Mm-hmm. And we're able to bridge off each other and give each other the best version of life. Because I like to work. I don't want to travel. I want to build stuff. So she gives me the freedom to do that. And she wants to sell stuff, but she also wants to travel and she also wants to enjoy her life. And I give her the freedom to do that. And we have infinite trust. Our marriage is our safe space.
So what do y'all do to find that balance, though? Is there y'all have a safe word yo, look, we're not talking about this anymore. We're focusing on one another, or now we business mode. How do y'all find that balance?
I don't think we have it.
I don't think we.
No, we talk about business. Yeah, we talk about business, but we also like to talk about business. And so I've had a friend say to me, do y'all talk about anything else, or can we not talk about real estate? And I'm like, nah.
You talking to me? We talking about real estate.
We cannot. This is what we do. This is what we like to do, and the people around us like to do it too. So we surround ourselves with people who enjoy what we enjoy, and we also surround ourselves with people who kind of do what we do and live a lifestyle that we live, so that we can talk about the things that we like to talk about.
The funny thing is, I said this in response to that to her. If you worked and sacrificed everything to get to a certain place to do a certain thing, and now you're doing that, what else is there to talk about? Like, we're living our dreams right now. So, you know, and that's honestly how we got to Marriage and Real Estate for the podcast. It was, we just had an idea that real estate could change our life. And all we did was kind of go through the motions. So as we met other couples along the way who say, oh, I want to do what you do, it's like, we used to sit down couples individually. So we sat down with probably 40 different couples. And they all said, oh, well, we want to do what you do. And for various reasons, they either didn't or did something. And for the ones who did something, they're so much farther than the ones who didn't. But we saw this in like real practice, because the reality of the situation is everybody has an opportunity to have their dream life, whatever version of life you want it to be. But you do have to be committed to living out that vision, right? You have to be, it's the only thing you talk about.
You got to be committed in the moments whenever it's not meeting that vision that you had.
Exactly, because, you know, a bunch of stuff gonna pop, Bitcoin gonna pop, a bunch of stuff gonna pop up.
It's gonna try to derail you.
Exactly. So what we said is, we're committed to this. We're real estate. And I'm gonna do real estate 10 years from now. When somebody asks me what you're doing 20 years from now, we still gonna be doing this because we're living our dream every day. And we get to work with each other living that dream every day. So we have an office and a staff, and every day we show up. Don't nobody have to make us go to the office. We pay the bills at the office. It's funny. I told her, I said, they couldn't beg you to get at your office at your job. You're supposed to be at 9 every day. You'd be at 9:30. Now you at the office at 8. I can't get you to leave. And we pay for this office here. So that's the difference, is when you're living your dream and when you're living in your calling, it's just different. It's all there is to talk about.
Oh, that's deep. I like that. I kind of want to pivot to y'all and y'all podcast. When did y'all start and what made y'all start it?
In 2019.
Really?
Was it 2019?
It was
2017.
No, that's when we started our company. But 2019 is when we started the podcast.
2019 is when we started the podcast. And we started the podcast because Kevan and I, we would have these conversations and be like, dang, somebody got to hear this, you know? And so it was kind of like our own podcast. And then we were like, we really need to share this with people. Or we would be with other couples and we would just kind of banter between one another or give them advice. And it's like, other people should hear this. So that's when we started the Marriage and Real Estate podcast. Yeah.
And how's that been for y'all with, on top of actually building and selling as well? How do y'all make that work?
You know, the funny thing is, we make our money doing real estate. So the podcast has always been like a passion project for us, right? But over the years, we've taken it more and more seriously. This year, we're doing our first Marriage and Real Estate conference in Houston, November 3rd to 5th. So we could talk more about that.
That's major, yeah.
For us, we're living it every day, right? So it came out of what we naturally were going to do anyway, which is the actual real estate part of it. So it's almost hand in hand. We got to put it on a schedule because we won't do it other than that. But recording it, we just get to talk about what we do every day. It's real easy. Like I said, it's all we talk about. So it's really, really effortless to have the connection because we're transaction real estate every day. We're meeting people in the space every day. We have a large network of people who just do what we do, and we enjoy it.
I think if you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, what Marriage and Real Estate does for us, and we feel like does for our network, is it gives you those 5 people that you want to be like, right? So if you say, man, I love what Kevan and Ayesha are doing, I want to do that too. Well, you need to hang out with people who are doing what we're doing. And so this is really a platform and an opportunity to be around and build relationships with people who are doing what you're doing. Because if everybody around you is a millionaire, quite naturally, you'll rise to the occasion. But if you're the only millionaire in the group, you won't necessarily go down, you just won't go any further. And so we want to surround ourselves, and we also want to give people the opportunity to surround themselves with people that are doing this in real estate and in their marriage, as opposed to, you know, a bunch of people sitting around talking about how they hate their husband or they hate their wives. You know what I mean?
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
By having them build that legacy together, they're not. If you have a legacy, I think Jake said that one time, right? Like, a family that doesn't have a plan, they'll fight one another. But if you have a plan to build legacy, if you working on something together, y'all have this union, y'all have this mission, it's easier altogether because y'all working towards something, not just kind of together and talking about random shit all the time.
Yeah, I think that's really good though, because if you are working towards something, if y'all have a common goal, when things come in between that, you can say, hold up, we got this big picture. And so you can get over those things, as opposed to you aimlessly working your job and I'm working my job, and I meet Susie because she fine and she tell me that I'm a good man, and you telling me I'm a bad man every day. Then that divergence can happen. There's space for that divergence. And I feel like when we have a common goal and are moving in the same direction, it's not impenetrable, but very close.
It's hard.
Yeah. I mean, after everything I've been through with Kevin, nobody can say anything to me.
It's
like,
real hard for a chick to like walk up and talk to me like we'd have been through something.
I'm just like,
what are we talking about?
yeah, like how?
Like, it's funny, and I wanted to touch on what you talked about, building a legacy. One of the things that we see all the time, and couples don't recognize this, most couples are way closer than they think to the financial peace or the financial freedom that they're longing for, right? And that's why everybody's kind of searching for the answer or the secret sauce. People don't recognize that if you just do what you do well, or, you know, it's the combination of three things. And I was just telling them this in the car. It's, do you enjoy what you do on a daily basis, or finding something that you reasonably enjoy, the people that you're around, right? And then what your plan is. Because ultimately, you could have a plan, and if you're around the wrong people, it ain't gonna come to fruition, right? You could say, okay, I'm gonna work this job for 10 years and invest my money, but if you absolutely hate everything you do every day, you're gonna spend every waking hour trying to escape from that thing. So you have to put together kind of an ecosystem to support your success, because the ecosystem, even in our down moments, we were around people who went through business, and I went to my mentors. I was like, man, we're going through this. They're like, oh, you're in a great spot.
You're in the right place.
And I was like, what do you mean?
I feel like I'm going through it right now.
And several people who are very successful, when we were in that moment, were like, oh, yeah, you're in a real good spot. Like, that makes sense. Like, they understood where we were before we understood where we are. Now that we're past it, now we get it.
Oh,
so anytime somebody talks to us about their downtimes in real estate or their business, we like, oh, yeah, that's just the part where you figure stuff out and get better, you know? And if you understand that everything works out for your good, regardless of how painful it is, regardless of how hard it is, for me, I'm like, when I'm going through stuff or we're going through stuff, I'm like, dang, God must have something bomb on the other side of this, because this some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, so, you know, it really is whenever we come across adversity, I'm like, ooh, that boy cooking up something good, because this is really hard. Yeah. And so it's in those hard moments that you learn, or after those hard moments that you look back and go, oh, okay, I see why we had to do that. I see why I had to go through that. I see why I had to feel like I was never going to have money. Everything is going to be gone. It was fear. It was fake. It wasn't real, but it was what I thought was going to happen. And it didn't pan out like that. No. But you felt like it was the end of the world.
Oh man, look. It was many nights.
It is. And now we look at couples and people and we like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
I'm like, now you where you're supposed to be. Yeah. It's like I give advice to couples going through similar situations, like, you're in a good spot. And I sound like the mentors who told me that, but you do literally have to walk through the fire.
Yeah.
I think that's good too, like, because being able to really realize what adversity is, and being able to tell people like, yo, it's going to be better. Like, this is just a part of the game. I think that's another thing that social media took away from people, is understanding that, I'm not going to say losing, but adversity is a part of the game. You have to overcome to get to the next level. And I'll even equate it to playing video games as like a young kid, right? Like, if you're playing Mario, you know the castle is going to be much harder than the regular level.
Yep.
But whenever you beat the castle, you get that new superpower or whatever that lets you go crazy on the next one. So it's like, you have to go through those hardening moments, even like championship teams, right? If it's like a 8 seed team and they go through and they really like come out and they get to that final, like, they've been hardened and they've faced adversity. They've seen players go down, but they see people from the bench able to step up. So now it's like, okay, we can win on any level.
Yeah. Let me tell you what I heard from an investor that really changed it for me, and now I got it, right? When I invest my money and somebody tells me about their story and what they're doing, if it's all wins, I'm not investing with you.
That's true.
Let me tell you why. Because you got to lose at some point, right? And if you haven't lost yet, it's coming. And if you listen to anybody anybody who tells the full story on social media, we got big wins and we got big losses, right? And I want to hear about your big wins and your big losses, because if you had a big loss and I'm looking at you now and you're successful, I see that you can get through the tough times. I want to invest my money with people who've been through tough times and can get through it, because it builds grit. And every entrepreneur and every investor that I know, no, we don't invest with people who haven't hit. If you haven't hit bottom or you haven't had trials and tribulation, but you always hit, and I'm $1 million, I didn't flip this, I didn't flip that. You're going to get real big. You're going to make the wrong decision, and it's going to come down. And I don't know how you do on the other side of that.
How you react to that pressure?
I don't know how, but if you've been through something, you know what I'm saying? If you've had adversity and you've come out of it, I'm like, okay, I feel much more comfortable investing in people that have been through things than those that haven't.
And somebody had asked us
golden.
that. When we were raising money, before we went through everything we went through, I remember we had an investor, and he said, tell me a story when you've lost.
Yeah.
And at the time, we hadn't experienced that. But we learned from another real estate investor who had lost big, and we listened, right? He was like, he raised a bunch of private money, went through a loss, and what he did was basically pay that out over time. He made sure his investors never lost. So what we committed ourselves to is we would play the same way.
Yep.
So when we lost, we liquidated our portfolio, we came up off of it, but we made sure every single person was whole, made money, didn't lose. We lost.
We did.
We lost credit, we lost cash. It hurt. We still recovering from it now. But the reality of the situation is nobody with us lost. And the investor who literally had to ride out with us for 2 years, after we paid him off, he's like, when's the next deal?
Yeah.
And we're like, man, it took 2 years he's like, but I like how you respond.
You showed good faith. You showed that you're able to
Never lost
commit.
communication. You never ran away from me. Anytime I had a question, you were always there to be of assistance. Yeah, even when things didn't work out planned, you communicated that, and he respected that.
Yep.
And he's a great friend now to this day. And the same thing happened with the investor who taught us, because now that same investor who rode out with him when he lost big is his partner in a lending business for the last 10 years.
Yeah, tell me more about your losses. Your wins are great. Like, you can win, and that's awesome. But I want to know how you overcome your losses, because that's going to tell me so much more about you as a business and about my investment that I'm making in you.
You see why I follow her? Because she just work, man.
Yeah, I love it.
I just get behind it and make it happen.
Nah, this has been awesome. You got something else?
Nah, this has been golden. Like, I do want to ask. So again, we kind of had that conversation, but I guess I just want to ask it again to you, Kevin. Like, from an ego standpoint, right? As a man, you just said you follow behind your wife.
They even talked about ASAP Rocky recently.
Oh, no, the ASAP Rocky thing, y'all. Have y'all seen that?
Yeah.
Like the imagery
the
that's
cover.
in?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it's the effeminization of black men, all this other stuff, right? With you saying something like that, as a man, how do you, I guess, not let it affect your ego in a sense?
So let me ask a question. If we were in the forest and one person had a map, who you gonna follow?
Person with the map.
Person with the map.
So she led me to my dream,
Call me Dora.
right? So the reality of the situation is I still lead the household. I still lead the effort. I still make the decision to push us forward in that direction. But ultimately, she can see clearer than I can see. She can see me in a way that I can't see me. So she could see what I'm capable of. She could go, the only reason we have a business, I started my first construction company when I was 19. I shut it down because it was too hard to pay the bills and pay everybody else. So I went and I worked for somebody else's plan, right? So only reason I went back into business was because she had a better plan than I had. She said, oh, you're building $100 million for somebody else. We can build a couple million for ourselves. Oh, they raising $10 million. We can raise a couple million for ourselves. Now she'll be honest. She ain't gonna do it. She gonna give me the play and I'm gonna run the ball. But why the quarterback can't listen to the coach? Quarterback lead the team.
Damn,
That's a fact.
that's a bar.
So ain't no ego in that.
Anymore.
Like, well, that's true.
we
That's true. In my moments in 2019, that's where I messed up. It was the ego, because when I got feeling myself is when I made mistakes, because I was thinking that it was from me, and it wasn't from me.
It was from the union.
It was from the union. It's always us. When we've tried to do things separately, it don't work.
Don't.
It only works when we one mind. So that's that same way that double blessings works. It's negative the other way. When you operating outside of the blessings, God don't shine on that. So the reality of the situation is I stay in the pocket, because the easiest way to make sure that we're going where I ultimately want to go, I want the better life. I want to, provide these things for my family. So I got to follow the map, and I'm going to follow the person with the map. She ain't driving the car. She just telling me where to go. What's wrong with that? Like, people get so caught up in thinking that you got to be the man in every single aspect of life. You got to have a plan. You got to have the execution. You got to be good with money. You got to whatever. God builds people with different skills for different reasons, right? If I was so good with money, I would have been good with money before I met her.
It's a fact.
Wasn't true, right? If I was that dude, I would have been that dude, and we never would have met. So all these people get caught up trying to be the dude when you weren't that dude before you met her. How you that dude now? Like, be the best partner you can so you can have the best life that you can. I got a friend, his wife's a doctor. She gonna be the doctor, make the money, he gotta go run the play. Like, she make more money than him, but that don't hurt his feelings. He running the play. Amazing real estate investor. Buying properties left and right. Bought his wife a car for Christmas, this and that. Why? Because she's stabilizing the household, and he's leveraging off that W-2 to go grow it. He like, look, you bring it home, I'm going to make it shake.
I'm going to grow it. Yeah.
And that's how it's the power of partnership. And it don't have to be more than that. But people want, the ego is what keeps men from growing to where they are. A man is nothing without a woman. That's just the reality of the situation.
You better. You some, but you,
never even
but
did
you,
if it was
you
wrong.
some, but you a lot better.
Here's the thing. Give a man responsibility, sacrifice, circumstance, he becomes a much better man than he would be. There's a lot of brothers out here just chilling on somebody's couch or somebody's floor. But let them get a baby or let them get a good woman, they change their whole life. Like, I've spent my entire life as a parent and married. I was divorced for 9 months. I met her. I got basically remarried.
Got him.
She said, "God, like the night."
Like
Yeah.
Nike. Got him. Sorry, Dad.
So I don't know. I think as a community, we need to get back to what made us strong in the first place, and that's a sense of family. We're not meant to be independent. We're meant to be interdependent. As a society, we couldn't be here today without the person who had the space. You had the car to drive, the mics, the man on the. We all need each other.
Even the relationship through Nikki.
Exactly. So we can't silo. We need the other couples that we're around, because when we were low, we needed their insight. We need it the same way it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to live life, to survive it. It's too hard other than that. So at the end of the day, I'm going to follow the person with the map, and the map is going to lead us to our dreams. And I just want to get to my dreams.
That was good. That was good.
So, Kevan and Ayesha, we're going to pivot into the last few questions of the show. I know
We got to get y'all right here. We got to get y'all out of here so y'all can keep on rocking and rolling.
The show don't stop, y'all. They be out here doing the damn
Yeah,
thing.
she was just on the call.
Yeah, we
Get y'all back.
going to be here. Just wait a minute.
Stay for 11. That's what we do.
Yes, sir. So my question I want to ask to y'all, my favorite question is, what's a personal finance principle y'all live by that y'all are using to ensure your wealth?
Whoa. Okay. A personal finance that we live by that we use to ensure our wealth. I think we have a bunch of them, but you know what?
Yeah.
You know what I'll say, and I think this is relevant to the audience of married people, right? We got insured
Oh, yeah,
while
that's
we
true.
were employed, right? And so right before we left our jobs, we like super upped our insurance game. So we got a couple of, that's a hack that people don't know. Like people jump out into entrepreneurship before securing the insurance bag because insurance is based on your income, right? And so we got insured at the income that we were before we left our jobs. Yeah.
That's good.
Like,
so mine would be, most people, and generational wealth is such a buzzword, but without substantial income, it's very hard to generate any kind of wealth.
That's a fact.
So most folks need to concentrate on income, maximize your income, and then get smarter, right? So probably knowledge and income would be the two, because before we ever invested it out, we had to learn how. And I see a lot of people these days who say a lot of buzzwords, generational wealth and financial freedom and whatever, but you actually have to learn this stuff because real estate is nothing but tools. If you don't know how to use them, I could hand you a bag of tools, but if you don't know how to actually turn a wrench, it doesn't matter.
You use it like a hammer.
Yeah.
So you actually need to know what you want to do and how to do it. Learn that first.
yeah.
And then maximize your income and then invest and then build from there so that you're not behind the AGL.
I love it. So I got 3 quick questions. My first question for both of you. Are you frugal or are you a flexer?
I'm a flexer. Well, flexer in what way?
However, whatever you consider as flexing, if you like to flex on the newest gadgets, if you like to buy shoes, if you like to go trap, whatever you feel like is flexing to
So
you.
my flex is my wife. So if you see her, you see me. I'm a super simple cat. I like to build stuff. But you see my wife.
Hey, this is a smart man, by the way. Smart man.
I'm a frugal flex, but he keeps me. Because we got it. So, but
You're frugal.
I'm a frugal.
I'm probably the problem.
I'm a frugal flex, and I'll say that to say like I like nice things, and he definitely adorns me in nice things. I don't necessarily need it, but if you can, then why not?
Yeah, she don't care about stuff.
But you won't see me on the internet popping my stuff like
Yeah, we
you.
don't do
I got it. I'm like T.O. What it? No, Terrell Owens. No, what was the one who said he buy his earrings? He buys earrings from Claire's because you know he got it. I'm like that.
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
I'm like that.
I like property. I like building businesses. That's the fun part for me. I just like the deal. So I don't care about.
Nah, he don't care about that.
Okay. Second question. What are you guys doing to actually build that wealth, but pass it down to your children after you guys are gone?
So a couple of different things. Business ownership is the biggest thing that people really don't like. An underlying business, and I say this all the time, investments are cool, jobs are cool, but most people who've built wealth in this country do it through business ownership and real estate. But how you do it matters, right? So our biggest vehicle, of course, is our business. Our biggest investment is our business. And putting that in place so that we do have not only a business, but also the foundations of business for our children is the huge thing. The biggest impact we've seen in our household is as we've changed our life, it's changed the dynamic of our entire family. And I don't just mean our household, cousins, parents. My mom called me the other day. She's like, I want to buy a rental property. She's retired. She never had a rental property in her life. But the reality of the situation is seeing people do it is infectious. That's how you break the mold. Be the example, right? So us operating in this space has broken a lot of molds within our family already. Of course, we'll be there for our children. Wills, trust, insurance is a huge part of that. Making sure that we maximize insurance, being very, very heavy on how you insure yourself and make sure that not only it's a wealth transfer vehicle, right? So how you put insurance
And
in
not
place.
expecting our children to run our businesses after us, right? So a lot of businesses fail probably in the second or third generation because it gets lost, that grit gets lost. And so building our business so that if the kids do want to run the business, they can. But if not, this business lives beyond us for them.
If our children know how to be board members and know how to make decisions, they'll be all right.
That's good. That's good. My last one you touched on it is, do y'all have life insurance? So
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a bunch.
Of course.
Well-
Got this really
Well
thing
endowed.
on it.
Let me
Well-
explain that secret.
You can?
Oh, super quick.
Okay.
2 minutes. So before you leave your job, for anybody thinking about leaving your jobs, you get substantially less insurance once you leave your job because they base it off your income, especially W-2. They'll give you 3 times your income in life insurance if you're employed. Self-employed is at a higher rate and they give you less coverage. So get your insurance before you leave your job. Get death and disability before you leave your job. Get health insurance through, here's the true plug, QuickBooks has a marketplace similar to Obamacare. You get regular insurance, almost like
Blue Cross Blue Shield.
literally like your
All that.
job.
I
Like
never knew that.
Yeah.
QuickBooks. If you use QuickBooks for your business, they have a marketplace for it. It changed our life. Our CPA put us onto that because a lot of times entrepreneurs are chasing the feeling of a W-2 job that, man, I can go put my insurance card, take my kids to the doctor. Put that into your business, right? QuickBooks helps with that.
That's good.
Yes,
That's
man.
good.
Definitely needed that one. I appreciate that.
Good, man. It's a
Kevin?
game changer.
Aisha, I do appreciate y'all joining us on the show today.
Amazing.
Before we let y'all go, can y'all please just let our audience know how they can tap into y'all show, where they can follow y'all?
If they
wanna
want to
get
buy them,
and how can they get in contact?
Ooh, let's see.
You got it?
Wow. marriageandrealestate.com, at Marriage and Real Estate on Instagram, Ayesha Shelton, Kevan Shelton. And truly, if you follow us on social, you'll see what we do and also the inventory that we have available. So if you're looking to invest or be an investor, we love coaching people through that. We have opportunities for that as well. But really, I think we are the brand. And so follow us and you'll get all the information.
And you'll
that
see us do real estate. AyeshaShelton.com for the Ayesha Shelton team if you want to buy or sell in the Houston area. Marriage and Real Estate Conference.com for our conference for 2023. We're excited about this conference. We got to get you guys out in November.
Yeah, I live here now, so.
Yeah, I'm at the road in Dallas, so we pulling up.
Yeah, you'll be here.
Because we are about couples learning how to use real estate to maximize their life. She created this planner called Dream Life. What was it? Design Your Life?
Design Life, yeah.
Design Life. And it became essentially the foundation for how we changed our life. And we changed our stars by very regular things in real estate. So, I think everybody has the ability to do that. We know countless stories of people who created amazing lives, built wealth and everything, just regular folks who work jobs and buy real estate. So we want to give that opportunity for folks through our experience.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Y'all make sure y'all tap into them. Make sure if you're a couple, y'all go to that conference.
November 3rd.
November 3rd. Maybe you might be single. You might find your wife or your
This
husband.
too, we opened up to singles. So if you want to get married, you want to just get the information.
You can step into the game the right way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah. So again, thank y'all so much for joining us. Before we get up out of here, guys, a few house cleaning items. As always, leave that 5-star rating and review for your boys. It definitely helps us continue to grow the show. Y'all make sure y'all tap in, leave a review. Let us know what y'all want to learn about. Also, if you're a business owner, you're looking to get funding, we've partnered up with our people at U Leverage Capital, man, our guy Malik. Go to blackwealthrenaissance.com/leverage today and fill out that short form and book an assessment today. Free 15-minute assessment. All right. You got anything for him?
Nah, man. That's it.
All right. Well, until next time, people, this is Black Wealth Renaissance. Signing out.
You can't cash it out.